If you are a watcher of the royal family and you like secrets, you might want to sit down because this is a doozy. Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. The couple's statement, they're withdrawing from some of their official duties and now plan to balance their time between the United Kingdom and North America. I say welcome, Meghan and Harry. On behalf of all former rebels against the British crown, you're gonna love declaring independence. It comes with free speech and unlimited breadsticks. Us dating, when everything was in code, I couldn't tell anyone who I was dating and who was keeping the secret, so I think we were just on a letter basis. I get it. In the 80s, I dated a very famous woman whose identity I will never reveal and only ever refer to her using our secret nickname, Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher.
Honey, when we say Stephen Colbert torched Meghan Markle, we mean he absolutely roasted her royal fairy tale and left it in ashes on live television. And not just Meghan, he dragged the whole M&H circus. It was like the final nail in the coffin of their carefully packaged love story. If even liberal late-night hosts are jumping ship, you know the PR honeymoon is done.
You gotta drive the train. Come on. Yeah.
Let's rewind for a sec. Stephen Colbert wasn't just another late-night comic. He was a fortress for progressives, a witty crusader with a mic instead of a sword. And Meghan, she thrived under his soft glow. For years, he had her back when the world was throwing shade, defending her against racism, palace coldness, and British press brutality.
A mystery for the ages. Now, we all have our theories, of course. Here's mine. I assumed it was for the obvious reason. M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, and H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. 8 plus 13 is 21. 21 was Deion Sanders' number.
But oh, honey, something snapped. And when Colbert turns, he doesn't just turn. He pirouettes into pure savage mode. His monologue was nothing short of a public evisceration. The jokes weren't just funny, they were deadly accurate. No more sympathetic sighs. What we got was a full-on expose on how Meghan and Harry's victim act was worn out and starting to look a little staged. Hypocritical even.
Website, it says that they're all about compassion. They're compassionate people. They're also all about mental health and helping people with mental health. They've been very vocal about that recently, about the perils of online trolling and the effect it has on people's mental health. And yet here we are with Vanity Fair, the Hollywood Bible, the thing that Meghan was most thrilled about getting the cover of a few years ago when she got engaged to Harry, which went down very badly with the palace at the time, I can tell you.
And then, oh my God, he went for the jugular. Colbert called them out for crying about press invasion while cashing in $100, 0 cents M deals with Netflix and Spotify. He sneered, "If this is what privacy looks like, I'd hate to see their version of full exposure." The crowd lost it, like howling. Colbert stood there stone-faced, letting the brutal truth sink in, no mercy.
Reference to how they light up each other's lives. Wow.
He completely shredded their Netflix docuseries. You know, the one with all the slow motion stares and sad music? He mocked it brick by brick, saying it was more about lighting and curated vulnerability than real emotion. Their truth, he scoffed, comes in 4K with royalty fly piano music. Ouch. That one stung.
Wow. Y'all look good, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all look good. What happened?
But babes, the real dagger? The pet names.
Yup.
The oh-so-sweet M&H. Remember how that was supposed to make them feel relatable? Well, Colbert twisted that into a savage joke. He tore that intimacy apart and called it what it really was. A PR stunt disguised as love. And the crowd, they ate it up.
Trying to maintain some kind of future as a renegade royal couple when they're no longer part of the royal family. The royals don't talk to them. You know, the king does not talk to his own son.
Colbert's monologue wasn't just another comedy bit. It was a cultural intervention. If he, of all people, is laughing at Meghan and Harry now, what does that say about everyone else? Are they overexposed, overplayed, or just plain over?
It's just in, there was an interview from February that aired 2 days ago. Everyone, and I can't believe I'm one of the every, is still talking about Oprah's exclusive sit-down with the Duke and Duchess of Netflix.
That segment was a wake-up call. It marked a turning point. Meghan and Harry, once hailed as brave underdogs, were now Hollywood players. The media gloves were off. Sympathy, gone. Scrutiny, back in style. And Colbert, he wasn't just a friend on the sidelines anymore. He was judge, jury, and sass executioner. When he slammed down that metaphorical gavel, it was like, boom, end of era.
And the monarchy, and every time they try and do something else, nobody cares. No one cared about their podcast series. Nobody cared about the Polo series recently. Nobody cared about any of it. All they want to hear is the dirt.
When Meghan said M&H in that soft, polished tone, pausing perfectly for dramatic effect, you could almost hear the PR team high-fiving behind the scenes. It was another calculated move to make the world say, ah, but instead, eye rolls, then memes, then TikToks mocking the hell out of it.
Accused members of the royal family of being racist. Tough charge. I'm sure that made their hackles rise. One of the signs of inbreeding is a risen hackle.
Colbert took that, M&H, and served it ice cold. He mimicked the delivery, over-dramatized the romance, and then shot it back like a poisoned dart. "Men hate," he sneered, because nothing says down to earth like branding your marriage like a candle from Goop. Dead. Absolutely dead.
Say the Windsors were blindsided because they thought at worst the interview would make them look out of touch. Because if there's one thing a palace surrounded by iron spikes looked like before...
And the audience, they exploded. Not cute chuckles, we're talking savage, snorting, can't breathe laughter. Because deep down, everyone knew. This wasn't about a nickname. It was about everything that came with it. The fake sentiment, the PR packaging, the performance.
The palace issued this statement.
Colbert hit something deeper than comedy. He nailed the fact that the Sussexes don't want privacy, they want control. Curate the spotlight, not dodge it. M&H, that was just the latest focus group Instagram caption masquerading as trauma, and people were done pretending otherwise.
Reveled and wallowed in royal dirt for vast amounts of money. And that's what makes Prince Harry's ongoing campaign against the UK newspapers.
Let's be real. M&H didn't feel like a slice of their private life. It felt like something pre-written on a Hallmark card. It was stock photo authenticity. In Meghan's world, every sentence is a press release. Every spontaneous moment is already in the PR calendar.
Reveled and wallowed in royal dirt for vast amounts of money. And that's what makes Prince Harry's ongoing campaign against the UK newspapers.
But the problem? That PR staircase Meghan's been climbing doesn't go anywhere anymore. It loops over and over. Victims in love, misunderstood, please subscribe. Even their biggest fans, tired, exhausted. Even Colbert's liberal fan base, done.
As have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary.
Colbert didn't come after Meghan's character, he came for the act, and that made it so much worse. He held up a mirror and let her see how absurd the whole show has become. M&H went from cute to cringe in under 60 seconds.
Week, so laughably hypocritical, because he talks about intrusion into royal privacy. And yet, if you ask any senior member of the royal family...
You want to sign billion-dollar Netflix deals and still play anti-establishment? Okay, but expect the public to start noticing. You want to cry for privacy, but then roll out slow-motion docuseries and podcast exclusives? Go off, but don't expect applause.
You hit the airwaves, fans of the royal family dumped a crumpet in their knickers. Especially TV organism Piers Morgan, seen here getting his tallywhacker whacked.
And when your vulnerability starts feeling like a commercial, people will laugh loudly, publicly. Even your old allies will start cracking jokes. Colbert's takedown wasn't just funny, it was a warning shot. The public has stopped crying with you, Meghan. Now they're laughing at you. Let's talk fallout, because honey, it was immediate. Twitter flooded with memes. TikTok blown up with dramatic lip syncs. Reddit? A war zone. That one M&H line, it turned into a cultural shorthand for peak cringe. Even the internet's liberal darlings were done pretending this was real vulnerability. The tone deafness was impossible to ignore. And then came the race row again. People were pulling receipts from that Oprah interview, analyzing it like forensic scientists. Is it racist for someone in the royal family to ask about the baby's skin color? Colbert replayed the clip, gave a deadpan stare, and asked the question everyone had been scared to say out loud. Are we sure this wasn't just curiosity? And boom, backlash ignited like wildfire. And that's not even getting into her lifestyle brand, Love Meghan. Sis, no one wants to spend $150, 0 cents, on a candle that smells like PR desperation. Reviewers called it vague luxury with no personality. One even compared it to a souvenir shop that's trying too hard. Brutal. Consumers are savvy now. They don't just want aesthetics, they want meaning. But Meghan's products, they scream influencer merch with royal pricing, and people aren't falling for it. Then there was Confessions of a Female Founder, her next big thing, a podcast about women entrepreneurs, right? But guess what? It quickly turned into Meghan talking about
Meghan.
Listeners were hoping for uplifting stories and raw insights. What they got? A filtered diary with branded vulnerability and pre-approved emotions. It felt like another marketing campaign, not a safe space. And honestly, people are tired. We're not witnessing a stumble, babe. This is a collapse. Meghan's empire is wobbling on its foundations. Flops piling up, credibility leaking faster than a rejected podcast pitch. And in the savage world of Hollywood entrepreneurship, that's a death sentence. Charm and past trauma can only carry you so far. And Colbert, he didn't just make fun of it, he exposed it on prime time with jokes so sharp they cut through the last layers of polished PR armor. And let's not pretend the royal exit isn't still haunting them. When Harry and Meghan left the palace, it was supposed to be this epic moment of rebellion, a fairy tale couple breaking free from the cold grip of centuries-old tradition, but now it feels like they ran from Buckingham just to set up a content factory in Montecito. They traded tiaras for trademarks, royal crowns for media contracts. And the world noticed. Remember that viral moment? Harry saying their royal life was like a cage and they just wanted peace? Now look at the media circus they've created. The irony is loud. And Meghan, she's trying to pivot to authenticity again, but that ship might have sailed. After Colbert's roast, after the media silence from her A-list friends, after the canceled shows and underperforming podcasts, what's left? What's real? The truth is, Meghan built a palace of vulnerability, polished, pristine, and oh so pretty. But it wasn't real. It was a brand. Every tear lit perfectly. Every heartbreak dropped right before a product launch. And Colbert, he tore the velvet curtains down. This isn't authenticity, he joked. It's advertising. And honestly, he said what millions were too polite to say. Meghan's whole vibe has started to feel like a scripted trailer. Every intimate moment comes with camera angles. Every unscripted comment feels rehearsed. But even her silences are timed for impact. At this point, it's less about what she's saying and more about how she's saying it. And Colbert made that painfully obvious. And where were her defenders? Not in the press, not online, not even in the group chats. The celebrities who once shouted her praises, dead silent. Serena, ghost. Chrissy, busy. Tyler Perry, MIA. Oprah didn't even blink. When the heat came, they left her on red, and that speaks volumes. Because when the PR shine, fades the fake friends disappear first. What Meghan is experiencing now is Hollywood's cruel truth. Support isn't loyalty, it's leverage. They weren't friends, they were alliances, and when the headlines shifted, so did the loyalty. Now, the same people who once kissed the ground she walked on won't even like her posts. It's not personal, it's optics. And don't even get us started on the numbers. Meghan's Spotify deal, gone. Netflix on thin ice. That podcast she launched with hopes of breaking boundaries, canceled. That animated series Pearl, scrapped before it even saw daylight. These weren't minor flops. They were career red flags waving in HD. It's like the universe and the industry is telling her, girl, the act isn't working anymore. Even her candle line, yes, that happened, was roasted online. People compared it to overpriced hotel lobby decor. $620, 0 cents for a scent called Intentions. Girl, what are you selling? Vibes or delusions? It's like every new venture gets more out of touch. Meghan's empire is sparkling on the surface, but beneath it, it's cracking, and Colbert knew it. That monologue, it wasn't just shade, it was a verdict. Meghan isn't being silenced, she's being ignored. And in this business, that's worse than criticism. At least hate gets headlines. Indifference, that's the true cancellation. Remember when Meghan could make the world pause with a single tear? When her pain felt raw, urgent, relatable? Now the same stories feel recycled. People want messy, raw, human. They want the flaws, not the filters. But Meghan, she's still serving us tear-streaked lighting and trauma in HD. And it's just not hitting anymore. Colbert didn't expose her pain, he exposed the packaging. And the sad part, she had the world. We wanted to believe her. We did believe her. But the constant media blitz, the endless narrative rewrites, the lifestyle launches, it all blurred the line between the woman and the brand. Now, we don't know who Meghan is, only who she's selling. So where does she go from here? Reinvention? Maybe, but only if it's real. The world doesn't need another brand. It needs a person, someone flawed, someone vulnerable, someone real. If Meghan can strip back the polish and show us that girl behind the glitz, there might still be hope. But if she doesn't, then she fades, slowly, tragically. Forgotten in a world that scrolls past pretty pain and polished sadness. The curtain has dropped on the old Meghan. The stage is set for a new act, but only if she's brave enough to walk out unscripted. No teleprompters, no rehearsals, just her, as she really is, because the world isn't watching to be sold another sob story. They're watching to see if Meghan Markle is still worth the story at all.